Check, check, check. What's up, Texas? How's everybody doing? Is this our Sunday religion? Thank you for being here. Thank you for all you do for us, for this franchise.
Was that scary? That's what I was gonna say. Absolutely frightening.
So, I wanna immediately take it out to you. I don't want to steal any time from you guys who've been waiting a long time, and we do have to wrap here at 12:50. So sorry for the late start. I'm on the stew train.
So, for any one of the celebrities, including Matt, if you are on the stew train, and I know you can't disclose something, for NDA reasons, but like if and only if you had it your way, which way would you bring back Stu to explain his story?
I could answer for you, Matt.
Ripped, but with the TV on your head the entire movie. I'm just saying.
He wants to come back like he'd been in prison every day working out. I like it, by the way.
Like ripped,
scarred up face.
Yeah.
This is 100% true.
Yes.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen an adventure movie? That's Stu in part 6. Why are you laughing? My ass is gonna be jacked.
And if you laugh, he will punch you.
I will fight you.
You'll literally look like your character from Scream 5 with the flamethrower, which, if you didn't know, that was his voice.
My voice is in Scream 5.
Yeah.
You're welcome. What's your question?
Do what you love, though.
The best part of this is anytime he misbehaves, you can be like, the Scream staff said you got a great dad. So you gotta pay attention.
This is a conference room. Like, I feel like we're ready to talk about insurance.
Yeah, they have business meetings in here.
Maybe you can get some helm and boat.
I like that question because I actually don't think people talk about it enough. I think the idea of how you live a life and what you chase in life is so important, right? So many people come to Hollywood to chase money or fame. I don't think any of us have been. We've been lucky to find movies, but we would be doing what we're doing anyways. Does that make sense? We didn't come for the money. We didn't come for the fame. We came because this is what we have done our whole lives. So when you were good at whatever you were good at in high school, I was that kid who was getting picked on because I was in drama. We all had that thing where we were outside of the norm, and we found something that made us feel good about ourselves. So the idea of chasing what you love, when you feel good about shit and somebody goes, hey, you're good at that, it can change a kid's life. So if you see a kid who's struggling on the outside looking in, and I'm getting chills all over my body because it's my life, and you say to that kid, hey, you're incredible, you will change that kid's life. You are so powerful as adults, you have no idea. You be powerful.
Woo! I fall a little.
I know.
Well, first of all,
The only request, if you accept, is just to continue being the kind, generous, big-hearted person that you are, because I want him to grow up to be as amazing as you.
Aww.
I feel like you're a plant. What is that?
This is amazing, man.
Were you guys at a con together 9 months ago?
I would say.
My follow-up question is just, will all you guys be my parents? Just adopt me and be my parents.
He went from be good to your kid to she's like, can you be godfather?
I would love to have Billy and Stu be my two gay dads. we can get into the homoeroticism.
Speak in Shaggy's voice.
Let's see how it goes. What's Keith's question?
Skeet, how was Cole Sprouse in Riverdale?
I love Cole. Cole's a very, very intelligent man, and much like Matt, he's here for the first time last week, though.
What?
Wait,
what?
Hold on.
You didn't see Scooby-Doo?
Not till last week.
It came out 20 years ago, bro. That's your homeboy. That's your killer.
Ask him if he's seen Ride with the Devil.
Jesus.
No. Unreleased.
I'm more intrigued that you.
How's your MySpace account? He did you? 20 years ago, he canceled. You terrorized a small town with this guy.
I'm more intrigued that you sat down by yourself and you're like, I guess I'll watch Scooby-Doo now.
He's living in California.
Ruh-roh.
I have a question. So my question is for the casting. Is there a character that you wish that you can bring back from the Scream series, dead or alive?
Yeah, bro, me.
And Randy.
Randy.
Did you guys see that meme? Knows all the rules of a horror movie, dies in a horror movie.
You got shot in the head.
No, I was brutally murdered in a news van, but thank you for watching. I saw Scooby when it came out, okay? I'm not like Skate. I love the company.
I haven't seen The Company.
Next
I
question.
saw it on the plane.
Richard Hall, producing all that. What was it like working with him?
I think of him every day.
Who? Wes? I assume.
Cousin. She's all that question.
Your
Did you ever see
cousin?
that movie?
I don't know. We missed something up here.
But let's take a moment to talk about Wes. We'll redirect that question to Wes.
You're doing a great job keeping this thing on
I'm
track.
trying. The genre of horror was kind of at a lower point. What's your kind of memory of him? Because Wes is a huge part of what makes Scream with, you know.
I'll give you my 2 seconds. I was the youngest. I had no credits.
Yeah.
I did commercials. Wes, the first day I went up there, he was the icon of Wes, and he says, I had to cut the whole. Is that a cat?
Apparently you like cats, bro.
Wes showed me the scene with Drew, and I was like unknown, and I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, I had to cut it together to send it to Cannes because they needed to. No one knew what this movie was, and Drew went up and made her own little movie.
Yeah.
So Wes was beyond humble, beautiful, and giving, and quite frankly, he was like wanted to make a good movie.
Yeah.
You know, people were. It was like he made all these hits, and then people were like questioning what he was doing, and we were left alone. No one knew what they had, but he was the most giving, wonderful guy. So.
You know, I mean, my obviously, you know, Nev had a lot more time with him, but my memory and experience with him, it always seemed so intimate, like just personal and quiet and real, and I'm thinking mainly like the direction he's giving us in scenes and stuff like that. There was just a heart there that was, and an understanding and a psychology that was so beautiful, but his just was present. He was so present, and there's something so beautiful about people that are like that. And I don't know. I see pictures of him, and people come up with for Wes or stuff on it, and it's just always this wistful feeling of. I did one other movie with him later in his career, and you know, he was just an amazing man.
I don't even know how to just put it in a box. You know, it's so many years with him and experiences with him, and he was just brilliant and a gentle, wise soul, and had a great sense of humor and knew how to make these movies and inspired all of us. And yeah, I don't know, I can't put it into words, you know? He was just so incredible and obviously had such an influence on all of us and all the people who love his films. Like, it's incredible people who come up to me today and just say that they cried when they saw the West sign in the movie. Like, it meant as much to them as it meant to us when we walked on set, which is pretty profound.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, for me, you know, and I've said this before, that, you know, my career, I can only speak about my career, but your careers ebb and flow. You have good moments and bad moments, and you have moments where you feel like a fraud. You have moments you don't know you're ever going to work again, if you're going to feed your kids. And, you know, I've been confronted with that. I mean, we've sold our house, we've changed our lives because my career took dips. And there's these moments in your life that you hold on to in anything you do that keeps you going. And so for me, you know, I had this moment on set where we had one cell phone on set. That's how old this movie is. And I had to borrow the phone at one point, and Marianne, who was the producer, and Wes were sitting there, and they were like, "Oh, we're just talking about you." I'm like, "Oh yeah, what were you saying?" He said, "Someday you're gonna win an Academy Award." And I'm like, "Oh, shut up, tell my mom that." So he picked up the phone, he said, "What's the number?" and called my mom and said, "Someday your son's gonna win an Academy Award." And so in my life, when I feel like a fraud, I don't know if anyone in this room understands what that means, but when you are lost and you're like, "Oh shit, how am I gonna make it?" I go back to these moments that I can hold on to, and Wes Craven is like one of those tangible, very clear memories for me that keeps me going.
Yeah.
So he's so powerful for all of us.
Can I ask you a question? Quite expected the franchise to come back. You know, you coming back, we certainly didn't expect you to come back as a Force ghost.
Spoiler, bro, I haven't seen it.
A murder Force ghost. But what was that experience like coming back and making it without Wes and making it with the Radio Silence guys?
Well, you know, I don't think we could have had a better team jump on board and take over for Wes. I'd been really apprehensive about doing another one without him.
Yeah.
And they wrote me a letter, Matt and Tyler, the directors, and you know, said that they had become filmmakers because of the Scream films and become directors because of Wes Craven, and that everything they'd done had been influenced by Wes thus far. And that meant so much to me, you know. And then we had a conversation.
She's about to get me again.
And, you know, that they really, really wanted to honor him and respect this franchise in the energy that it started with, and they pulled it off, you know. And I'm so grateful.
No, that's an applause. Yeah. I think the spirit of Wes is there. But what about you?
Same. I mean, they wrote a letter and sort of really just gushed about how much Wes had meant to them and the franchise and why they felt like this would work and, you know, et cetera. But they were, when I finally got there and met them, and I only spent a day on set, so I didn't get the experience I didn't have the experience that Nev had necessarily, but you could not miss their eagerness to live up to the franchise. And they were just like, almost like student filmmakers, just so eager to make it work, and they're brilliant. Yeah, they're not, you know, they're not amateur filmmakers. These are brilliant filmmakers who just had that zeal for this story and for honoring it for Wes.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how brilliant they are when they figure out a way to bring back Randy Stu.
Listen,
it came through. I think
when they wrote me a letter and they said, "Listen, we want to put you on the mantle." And I had my agents call them. I was like, "Look, guys, mantle work, that's a different job."
You got a whole other agent for mantle work.
I have a mantle agent. No, I love it.
Right, back to our moderator over here.
What's your favorite Scream movie?
What's your favorite Scream movie? That's good. Man, where were you? I needed that question.
I have an answer on this, and I'm going to tell you where I am, but someone that we all know said something that I think is crazy. For me, it's 1, 2, 5, 4, 3.
Yeah!
Now,
Woo!
someone, I don't know if he's in this room right now, told me it's 1, then 4.
Boo!
4?
Boo!
There's an argument for 4.
I've been hearing, I gotta go rewatch 4, but for
It
me,
was
it's,
ahead of its time when it came out, just like the original.
so that's my one.
Someone came up to me and told me today they thought it should never have been made. For
It's polarizing.
Thank you.
Point them out and I will fight them. I'm a staunch defender. What about you? What's your order?
I'm gonna go. Shut the fuck up.
I know you.
I'm gonna go
You're about
one.
to lie to all of us. You have not seen them all.
He's gonna say 1 and 5 because those are the ones he's in, and then the rest of them.
Those are the ones I've seen.
Bro, you didn't see 2?
I know.
Come on, bro.
I know.
Well, you've watched Scooby-Doo.
Whoa.
Yes, I'm behind the times.
In
all right?
2022.
No Scooby shame. No Scooby shame.
What about you? You have the ultimate perspective here. This has been all.
I would say probably 1, 2, 5, 3, 4.
Ooh, you played ready before. Wow.
I could do it.
I would go 1. I think 1's my favorite.
Yes, no argument.
That's everybody's favorite.
I liked 4 a lot. I liked 5 a lot.
Yeah.
I did not love 2, and I didn't see 3.
Thank you.
What?
But everyone knows that he's actually into, right?
Yep.
The party. So,
Really?
well, I'm just saying.
I am.
That's an argument that you're still alive.
I was walking around the back of the set. The main characters.
Oh, wow.
Jeez, spoiler.
Joey.
Yeah. That would hurt the most physically and emotionally. Dewey.
I go Casey. I don't know, that first death was pretty
Brutal.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but you weren't emotionally invested in Casey.
I still haven't
I was,
processed.
that's why I killed her.
I still haven't.
You guys, he's handsome and funny.
I still haven't processed Randy's death. I'm still not
I
over
think
that.
Randy dying was. I think it was between those two. I think it's between Randy and Dewey. I mean,
We thought you had plot armor, and then that is why they chose to kill you.
Sorry, I think Dewey, for the same reason, we're so invested in him at this point. You know, 5 movies in, and we have such empathy for him. He's such a darling character. You know, I certainly cried when I even read the script, and I don't think I've had anyone say to me they didn't cry when they saw Dewey pass in this. But certainly Randy as well, and all y'all. I love y'all.
Good save.
I'm right
Tired, I'm
here.
so tired.
You watched every season of Party of 5.
Jamie, most memorable sketch from The Experience.
Oh, wow.
Those seen and not seen. But with that being said, did you guys know who the killers were in the first round?
We did, yeah. That was before
Yeah.
the days of hiding scripts. And remember, I mean, I do think it's interesting is that nobody expected this movie to be anything. So in that expectation, like nobody really cared. So they're like, whatever, read the script. So it's only now, in retrospect, that you like we're a part of something that is still being celebrated, which is crazy. Because when we did it, one of the great things about it for all of us, I think I'm speaking for all of us, is one of the great experiences of our lives. It's like our childhood. We were kids showing up in Sonoma, California, racing to go out to dinner every weekend to be together. We would wrap at 5 in the morning and go hang out in David Arquette's room and drink like teenagers. And so you had an experience that was this wonder of young Hollywood in the early 90s. So there wasn't the pressure to be anything other than what it was, which I think all these movies these days, from the MCU down to Scream 10, 11, and 12, there's pressure to deliver box office return, which we didn't have, which makes it such an idyllic memory for all of us.
Thank you for making that question so much.
The debate, there were a lot of masks that they went through before, it happened to just find what was already an existing Halloween costume as they were doing set scouting. But there was a lot of pushback against the original Ghostface, which has now become iconic and the most popular Halloween costume. But kind of playful and silly, which is perfectly toned with the movie. What was all of your first reactions to seeing Ghostface, especially you guys, that got to actually put it on at least for one scene?
Yeah, I mean, I just remember it feeling, I think it was Wes's enthusiasm for finding the one that like really kind of drew me into it. I don't remember like necessarily being shown them or like suddenly it was this thing. But in hindsight, it was, you know, it was just sort of the method of how it all happened, and that it was happening live in the moment like that. I don't really remember my reaction to it, right? I do remember so much about Edvard Munch and like all this, you know, being related to that and it feeling elevated beyond, you know, just a simple costume, right? Which is kind of Wes to a T in a way. Everything had so much more meaning than I was educated enough to understand, and he had these reasons for things, and you know, one mask may look no different to me than the next, yet for him it had this, there was a whole psychology behind it. So that's kind of
It's like the Freddy sweater being red and green because they're the most unappealing colors to the
right,
like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
What about you guys? What was your reaction to it? I didn't realize it was like literally right behind us. So.
I don't really remember. There was like some. I don't really remember too much. I wasn't the Killers, but I just remember like that painting.
Yeah.
And I would just remember like, oh my God, they're gonna get like that mask that's like from Edward Munch the Scream. So.
Yeah.
But I remember there was like a lot of stuff. It was like a toy shop.
Yeah.
And they had to get the rights, and I remember the whole. That was crazy. And I remember there was a lot of stress. There was stress.
I think some of you guys even saw it on set, like in the scene for
Yeah.
the first time.
Yeah.
We were there when he pulled out. I distinctly remember him pulling out a box.
Yeah, I remember the
Yeah.
box.
They were making a decision on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the story is that they had they decided to go with the Scream mask.
Yeah.
And it was, again, going back to the point that what this movie was nothing until it was something.
Right.
They didn't acquire the rights from this small North Carolina
fun
town.
world. Yeah.
And they now still own the rights to this little mom and pop shop that was off making masks for paintings, ended up with the rights to the Scream mask.
Yeah.
Which, you know, is not a small thing.
Yeah. It's like everything else with this movie. It's kind of
In
beautiful.
fact, I think I heard their private jet just go.
Well, thank you all for indulging us in all of this. This is just such an honor and a pleasure to have you all here and all together. We want to do one last thing. It's kind of become a Frightmare tradition where we have the audience behind you and get a photo just to kind of commemorate the experience. So we have just like you guys like line up here, and then everybody kind of behind you just, you know.
Yeah, can we, as we're doing that, can I just say, listen, you guys, I want you to know that you may not hear it enough, but the people on that floor are very grateful for your hard-earned money, for you waiting in our lines to support us. You help feed our families from job to job. I haven't worked in 10 months. So again, I know Skeet said in the beginning, but we are so grateful. And everyone on that floor is grateful. So if you don't hear it enough, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.